my little yarnivores and spiderettes. Fiber Spider back again with another tutorial just for you. And today I have a really fabulous lacy stitch, as you can very well see. This is the Granny Spider Stitch. Now we've got, for me, the best of both worlds because we've got spiders and we've got the Granny Stitch. It is a fabulous combination of the two. Now, this is super lacy. So what I did was I decided to make a wrap. And I did several repeats wide. It starts over on this side and progresses over, and it is that wide. Now, also, it is very long, so basically it is essentially a really wide scarf. You can use this, of course, for whatever project you like. I would not suggest this as a baby blanket because their little footsies are going to get all tangled up in these bits here. However, I think it would make a lovely scarf, wrap, table runner if you're doing a lightweight crochet cotton thread kind of deal. A table runner, tablecloth, curtains would be fabulous. I'm just throwing out some ideas for you. Now, for this piece, I used Red Heart Super Saver, obviously in white, and I used a size I crochet hook, and I'm going to be using one of these today. This is also a size I. It is a 5-point focus, thank you, 5.5 millimeter hook, a size I hook, and I recently did a live stream where I showed these. This is a hook called Like. I hope I'm pronouncing that right. These are driftwood, and I'm going to be using this today for this tutorial because I often get asked about the kinds of hooks that I use, and I went into a bit more depth and detail in my last live stream. And for today also, I'm going to be using some Red Heart Super Saver as well, and it looks complex, but actually once you get past the initial repeat, it's not that hard because it's one of those where you can look at your existing work and see, oh, this is where I need to be. All right, so without further ado, let's get started. Okie dokie, so now to get started, you are of course going to need a base chain. Now, for this particular piece, you can make this, of course, as wide or as narrow as you want to. I went ahead and I did my base chain already. Now, the multiple is a multiple of 21 stitches plus an additional 4 chains, okay? So what I did was I did 2 multiples of 21 chains for a total of 42 chains plus the additional 4 chains, so I ended up with a total of 46 chains, okay? So as far as the width is concerned, just be sure that you have a multiple of 21 plus an additional 4, and then you can get started. So I'm going to let you figure out how many multiples you want. I would say start with something nominal and small if you're doing a practice swatch, just like I am here. So I have a total of 46 chains, and so I'm going to let you do that, and then we'll get started with the tutorial. All right, first things first with row 1. All right, so we're going to start after, of course, you have your chain, naturally. We're going to start by doing 3 double crochets into the 5th chain from the hook. And so let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. So right into this hook. Now I would suggest when you're doing your stitches for your piece, I would suggest going into the back bump. The back bump, not the top loop, which is what I'm going to do. I'm going to break my own rules here, I know. Do as I say, don't do as I do. But I would suggest going into not this loop here, but turning the work ever so slightly and going into the back bump because it will give you a nicer, cleaner edge on the bottom, all right? But for the sake of speed and brevity, we're going to go in through the top loop. Or if you don't care, that's fine too. All right, so we're going to do 3 double crochets into the 5th. So we've got right into here, that 5th chain, 3 doubles, because I always find that it's easier to go in through the top loop than in through the back bump. That's just me personally. All right, then we're going to scoot along, and we're going to skip the next 2 chains down here, 1 and 2, going into that third one with 3 doubles. It's 1, 2, and 3, like so. And do that again. Skip the next 2 chains, going into the third chain with 3 doubles. It's 1, 2, 3. All right, then, now this is going to seem a little bit weird because we need to chain 13 chains. Okay, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, hello, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, and 13. And you know I'm gonna double count. I am. So we got 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, and 13. Perfect, perfect. All right, and I'm gonna get my yarn over ready because we're going to need to do another double crochet. And we're going to skip, let me see here. We're going to skip over the next 5 chains. Okay, so we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. So going into that 6th chain, right down in here, we need 3 more double crochets. Now this is a little bit awkward because we got this huge chain going on here, but it will work, trust me. All right, and then 2 more into that same stitch, that same chain. Okay, so yes, I know this looks peculiar. Okay, but this is how it's supposed to look. Do not worry. Okay, so we skipped 5 chains down here, and we have 13 chains up here. This will make sense later on. Don't worry. All right, so then, moving right along, footloose and fancy free, skip the next 2 chains down below, going into that third one with 3 double crochets. 1, 2, 3. Skip the next 2 chains going into the third with 3 doubles. 1, 2, 3. Skip the next 2 chains going into the third with 3 doubles. 1, 2, 3. All right, so we have at this point, we have 4 clusters. We need a total of 6. So again, skipping the next 2 chains, going into the third with 3 doubles. It's 1, 2, 3. Skip the next 2 chains, going into the third with 3 doubles. It's 1, 2, and 3. So we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 clusters of 3 double crochets each. Now, because I did 2 repeats of my base, now going to do another chaining of 13. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. Yes, I'm going to double check. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, and 13. Perfect. Okay, getting my yarn over ready. And we're going to skip the next 5 chains down below. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, going into the 6th chain with 3 double crochets. There we go. It's 1, 2, and 3. Okay, and we are almost at the end here. Now on the beginning, we had 3 clusters and a double crochet at the very end. So we have, where are we? Here we are. So we've got 1 cluster, and we need to skip the next 2 chains going into the 3rd with 3 doubles. 1, 2, 3. Skip the next 2 chains going into the 3rd with 3 doubles. 1, 2, 3. Then skipping 1 chain, going into the very last chain with a double crochet. And there you go. That is row 1. Now, yes, I know it looks a little flippy-floppy and wibbly-wobbly and timey-wimey, but no, this is how it's supposed to work. All right, so we will go on to row 2. All right, row 2. All right, so for the beginning of the row, we're going to start by chaining up 3. 1 and 2 and 3. Turn the work. Now, we're going to do a double crochet into this very first stitch here. And this is going to be an alternate back and forth between doing 1 double crochet in the beginning and 2 double crochets in the beginning. This will make more sense as we go on, but it's a great way of knowing where you're at within the pattern. So after doing your double crochet, scoot right along in between your clusters with 3 double crochets. That's 1, 2, 3. Technically speaking, you could do a chain 1 space in between your clusters, but this piece is already so lacy, not necessary. All right, so then after doing that cluster into the next space, if you will, 3 more doubles. 1, 2, 3. Okay, so now we have our chain 13 space. Yes, well, this is where the spider action starts. I'm going to start by chaining 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. Then going to do a single crochet into this chain 13 space. Okay, now the beauty of this is that you don't have to worry about exactly where it is because you can shift it. It's not locked in because we're just going into the space like so with a single crochet. So you can move this around later on, all right? So do not worry about that. And then to be symmetrical, we're going to do 6 chains again. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. And then skipping to the next space, I want to call it a chain space, even though there's no chain there. So going into the next space with 3 doubles. 1, 2, 3. And I know this must, at this point, seem to be rather fiddly, but once you have an established piece going on, it really does hold its own, and it makes a lot more sense, just in case if you're concerned. So from here into the other spaces, I'm going to do more clusters. The previous row, it was a total of 6. This row, it's going to be a total of 5. So it's just 3 double crochets in the gaps in between your clusters. Just scooting right along. And again, I'm not doing any chain 1s in between my granny clusters. It's just 3 double crochets, and then immediately another 3 double crochets. Just in between the gaps. And then 3 more, and then we have our 5. All right, you see we've got now 5 clusters of 3 double crochets each, and because we've reached our 13 chain gap once again, going to chain 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and whoa, 6. All right, and then into the 13 chain space, do a single crochet, like so. Chain 6 again. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. And then into the next space down here, 3 more double crochets. 1, 2, 3. 3 double crochets into the next gap. There we go. And then, because at the beginning we started with our 2 double crochets in the beginning and then 2 clusters, well, at the end we have 2 clusters, and at the very, very, very end, this double crochet here, it doesn't look like a double crochet, but if you turn it ever so slightly and work into this 1 chain right here, do 2 double crochets right into the top of this first double crochet, so to speak. All right, so I've got 1, and then 1 more, 2. Perfect. All right, and that is the end of row 2. Now, yes, again, I know this looks wonky. This looks like wonky vision, but it will make more sense. Give it a repeat. see what you think, you know. All right, and we shall continue on with row 3. Row 3. All right, so for row 3, going to start by chaining up 3. 1, 2, 3. Turn the work. And into the first gap, 3 double crochets. Like so. Okay. 3 double crochets into the next gap. And I'm calling them gaps because they're not chain 1 spaces, even though that's what I'm so used to. I know. But we do what we do, right? All right. I know, it's all about the semantics. All right, so then we've reached the end of the road, so we need to do another chaining of 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Oh, come on now. Yarn, work with me. 2, 4, 5, and 6. There we go. All right, so now we have our single crochet in the middle. Well, we're going to do a single crochet on we're going to go into the space, okay, with a single crochet, then single crochet into the single crochet, and then do a single crochet into this space. All right, so it's going to be a total of 3 single crochets. So going into this space right here with a single crochet, then into the single crochet from the previous row, and then a single crochet into the next space. I hope this makes sense. I know it looks a little bit weird, but so am I. All right, and then chain 6 again. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Skipping the rest of this space, going to the next gap down here with 3 doubles. That's 1, 2, 3, and we're going to go into the rest of the gaps as well. Previous row was 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Well, this row it's only going to be 4. It's just going to keep getting smaller and smaller until we reach 1. But right now it's really just a matter of doing 3 doubles into each gap until you have 4 clusters in total. There we go. So we've got our 4 clusters. And since we've reached the end here, we need to do the same thing with our chains and single crochets. So chain up 6, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and then again into this chain space, single crochet into the previous single crochet, and then single crochet into the next chain space. Like so. Chain 6 again. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. going into the next gap with 3 doubles. 1, 2, 3. Go into the next gap with 3 doubles. 1, 2, and 3. Then finish off the row by doing a double crochet into the top 3rd chain of our first double crochet right into here. Right in there. With a single double crochet. As in one, not a single crochet double crochet. I know that can be confusing sometimes with me. All right, so that is the end of row 3. Now keep in mind what I said before about how it goes from 1 double crochet to 2 double crochets to 1 double crochet. Well, the next row is going to be 2 double crochets. It's all about alternating the beginning and ending every other row. All right, so it should look something like this. Yes, the spider legs look a little bit, dislocated, but they will get there, trust me, and we shall continue on. Row 4. All right, so for row 4, we're going to start by chaining up 3. 1, 2, 3. Turn the work. And because in the last row it was just 1 double crochet, we need to do a double crochet into the first double crochet and into the next gap 3 double crochets. There we are. And we've already reached our spider. So chain 6, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. See, my problem is that I need to move my fingers up. That's what I'm not doing. 2, 4, and 6. Perfect. All right, so we are again going to be working within the chain space and working within our previous stitches and the next chain space. So it's going to be 1 in the space, then 2, 3, 4, those 3 stitches from before, and then into the space again. So it's going to be a total of 5 single crochets. So starting into the chain space with 1 single crochet, and then our 3 pre-existing single crochets, and then into the chain space for our last single crochet. So we now have a total of 5. We went from 1 to 3 to 5, adding 2 on each side each time. So then, chain 6, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, skipping the rest of this chain space, going into the next gap with 3 doubles. So 1, 2, 3, and because the last row, it was a total of 4 clusters, this row, it's only 3. So just 3 doubles into each gap. Oops. So we have our 3 clusters, and then we need to chain 6 again. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, going into the chain space with a single crochet. Crochet into each of the 3 pre-existing single crochets. And then single crochet into the next chain space for a total of 5 single crochets. Chain 6, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, then 3 doubles into the next gap. It's 1, 2, 3, and last but not least, into this very first double crochet, we need 2 double crochets. And there you go. All right. And that's the end of row 4. Row 5. So to begin with, chain up 3, 1, 2, and 3. Turn the work. Last row, we had 2 doubles, so we just need 1 for this row. Going into the first gap here with 3 doubles. It's 1, 2, and 3. And we've already reached our spider, our chain space. So chain 6, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, going into the chain space with our first single. There we go. I'm just going to scoot that over a little bit because it's not actually locked in. All right, and then single crochet into each of the 5 pre-existing single crochets. That's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then 1 at the very end into the next chain space. So we've got 1 at the beginning, then the 5, then 1 at the end. So it's a total of 7 single crochets in total. Chain 6 again. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 3 doubles into the next gap. And then 3 doubles into the next gap. And this row, it's just 2 gaps. There we go. Because the last row was only 3. Well, this one's only 2 now. All right, and we've reached our chains again. So chain 6, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Single crochet into the chain space. And then single crochet into the next 5 single crochets. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then into the chain space at the end. So we've got a total of 7 single crochets across. Chain 6 again. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Into the gap on this side, 3 doubles. And then double crochet, 1 double crochet into the 3rd chain of the first double crochet that we did. If this will cooperate, like so, right in there. Ta-da! All right. And so that is, excusez-moi, that is the end of row 5. Row 6. All right, so for row 6, going to start by chaining up 3. 1, 2, 3. Turn the work. And into the first double crochet, we need to do a double crochet right into the beginning, like so. And then, yes, we've already reached our chains. So chain 6, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, into the chain space. Once again, do a single crochet, and then single crochet into each of the 7 double crochets from before, and then again 1 into the end. So it's actually a total of 9 single crochets. So I've got 1, and then 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and then into the chain space 1 more. So it's a total of 9. 7 pre-existing and 2 new ones on each side for a total of 9. And this is as wide as our spider, so to speak, is going to get. Okay, so chain 6 again. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6 into the gap in between our clusters. Another cluster, just one. It's the loneliest number, but we do what we can. Just 3 doubles. There we go. So we've got our 3 doubles right in there. And continue on by chaining 6 again. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. Single crochet into the chain space right here. And then into each of the 7 single crochets. So I did the 1, and then, so I got 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and our 9th is into the chain space. Chain 6 again. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and then, last but not least, into the top of the third chain of this first double crochet, into the top of the double crochet at the end, right here, we need 2 double crochets. So we've got 1 and 2. Perfect. All right. And so that is the end of row 6. Now you can see in the middle here, our granny has come to a point. Well, we also have our spider, which started at a point and it grew to its widest length. Well, now we're going to be basically doing the opposite for the rest of this pattern. Okay. All right, so your piece should look something like this at this point, and it will make more sense as we keep going, but for now, this is going to be the end of this part of the tutorial because I'm already at like 40-something minutes, but you know me, I like to be thorough, so please do stay tuned for part 2 of the granny spider stitch. I hope that you're enjoying this and that you give it a try too. But stay tuned because I will do more. And if you're liking this video, please give me a little thumbs up button down below. And if you haven't hit subscribe, please do so because I do try to post as often as I can, whether it's crocheting or knitting or audiobook narration or my other YouTube channel, Fiber Spider Games, and link in the description box down below. And listen, until next time, I want all of you to stay inspired, stay caffeinated, and above all, stay stitching. I love you guys, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye for now.